goosebumps. I mean, when I was, walking down to this room, I crossed the very room that used to have my honors class. Of course, it was smaller, and it's now part of, the admin block. But I'm like, oh my God, that was my classroom. So when people come up to me and they're like, how would you define yourself? And I say, it's spice. And they're like, "Aap kya namak wamak ka kaam karte ho?" I'm like, no, not that kind of spice, but the spice in the speaker, the podcaster, the investor, the consultant, and the entrepreneur. So in the school, my parents would always be called at the PTA, at least my mom would attend the parent-teacher meeting, and they'd be like, अंग्रेज तो इंडिया छोड़ के चले गए, लगता है इसको यहाँ छोड़ गए, because हिंदी बहुत खराब थी. The time when my dad came home to me and said that we're finished and we have no money as a family, and real tough times coming, and I said, how much money do we have left? And he reached out to his wallet, and he opened his wallet and saying, the only money we have left is the money in my pocket, like in my wallet right now. And I remember walking into this one company, and it was New Year's time, just like now, and I said, okay, we're going to sell you some diaries. And he asked me, okay, what's the grammage of this diary? Like, what's the grammage of the paper? I had no idea, right? And I'm like, I don't know, 250, 300. And the guy looks at me, picks up diary, and he throws it at me. He's like, when you understand, what the grammage is, because it's supposed to be 70 or 80, he's like, you don't even know what product you're selling. He says, when you do, then you come back. Not many people have heard this one. Okay, but what I say is, by the 15th of August, 2041, I'd like to be the Prime Minister of the country. Imagine that, Bhagat Singh se Prime Minister. Ho sakta hai, right? We never know. So yeah. So that is a long-term goal that I have.
Hello everyone, welcome to the SBSC Alumni Podcast hosted by Basicolans, Shaheed Bhagat Singh College Alumni Association. I'm Siddhi.
And I'm Swati, and we welcome everyone here. Today we have with us the one and only Mr. Gaurav Bhagat.
Our guest today is someone who literally screams the 10x energy.
What if that one college fest and that one college event or any other society meeting became the spark that molded a business empire?
Our guest today did exactly that. From classrooms to boardrooms, he has inspired thousands of people.
So, entrepreneur, investor, speaker, coach, founder of Consortium Gifts and Gaurav Bhagat Academy. We welcome you, sir. Welcome.
Thank you. It is a pleasure, and it is your inaugural podcast. So I'm really excited that I've had the opportunity of being here with you guys today and being back in college. Such fond memories, from here, and it's good to be back. And thank you so much for having me.
Welcome back to SBC, your own home.
Absolutely.
First, I would like to know, how are you feeling right now? Like walking those same corridors, nostalgia hitting back, right?
That must not be the same back then.
So things have changed, but goosebumps. I mean, when I was walking down to this room, I crossed the very room that used to have my honors class. Of course, it was smaller, and it's now part of the admin block. But I'm like, oh my God, that was my classroom. So that was a throwback to those days. And of course, it's good to see that while some things have changed, so much hasn't changed. So it's still got a lot of the same settings and all of that. So I think that's lovely. So yes.
College campus have that magic. Even when we enter college,
right?
We are students right now. That feeling is just different.
So true.
Yeah.
So true.
We all know about your journey, but we would like if you could introduce yourself the way that you see your journey.
Okay. So of course, like you mentioned, so when people come up to me and they're like, how would you define yourself? And I say, it's spice. And they're like, "Aap kya namak wamak ka kaam karte ho?" I'm like, no, not that kind of spice, but the spice in the speaker, the podcaster, the investor, the consultant, and the entrepreneur, right? So that's yeah. And I still feel I have like a lot of free time, so I can pick up a lot more things. But that's really how the definition would happen. And of course, the journey's been fantastic. Started back when I was 16, so maybe a little before Bhagat Singh as far as the entrepreneurship piece went. But when I was here and hanging out with people, just outside, and I'm like, okay, we need to do more, and that's where the seed was sown. And truly, when everyone is out there, partying and doing things, and of course, I'm sure we'll talk about that later as well. My entrepreneurial journey truly got set when I was at Bhagat Singh.
That's like a whole power-packed intro.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Let's rewind a bit back to your SBSC days.
Right.
What kind of student were you? The one chasing opportunities or the one chasing attendance?
Okay, so definitely not attendance. Okay, because I think back in the day, a little lax on that as well. So actually what happened is my entrepreneurship journey started when I was 16, when I was still in school. And I started doing a few things. I made a board game on the stock market. I did some WWF trump cards. So these are all things I did when I was 16. When I was here in college, so it wasn't the best situation, because while college was all about having fun and doing all of that, and we should do that. Like go out and we used to be at the nightclubs. Like at the time, you had the Oasis at the Hyatt and the Gungrus at the Moria and Fireball at 32nd Milestone. But what actually happened is my father at that time was defrauded by someone that he worked with very closely, and the family was almost bankrupted. So one day he comes home to me when I'm in the first year of college here in Bhagat Singh, and he says, you need to start doing something. And I said, do I get a job? And he's like, no. He said, don't do a job, but figure something out that'll help create jobs. So my entrepreneurship journey, technically, and Consortium, the company that I now built, actually started when I was between the first year and the second year at Bhagat Singh. And I started the company with another friend who was also at Bhagat Singh. And yeah, today that company has got 85 people, 5 offices, probably one of the most respected in the space in the world. But the seed was sown in the first year of college here at Bhagat Singh.
Yeah, I did an internship wherein their motto said that, don't do jobs, create jobs. So that's the idea.
Yeah, and if you have that mindset, why not? It's not for everyone, and the point is that even in companies, you can actually become a leader within that organization and really grow, which is also really good. There's less risk involved, but I would agree with that. Yeah.
As you mentioned that some of your SBSC business, like your early business started here in SBSC only.
Right.
So can you share that story?
Sure. Yeah, it was very interesting. So I had a friend who was someone who was in school with me, and she went abroad to America. And then from the US, she brought these weightlifting gloves. And these weightlifting gloves are really nice. They were like Bollinger, neoprene. And I'm wearing them at the gym, the day after my dad had this conversation with me. And, the coach, Salim Bhai, and we used to stay in New Friends Colony. So at Par House in New Friends Colony, he walks by and he says, yeah, Jim, tere gloves to bade achhe. And we're like, great, yeah, maybe we should make these in India, because India didn't have the kind of gloves and all that you get now. Imports, weren't that easy and all of that. So while I started making gloves, and I started going along with another friend, Aman, who was also my classmate in English Honours here. So the two of us, we started, making, these gym gloves and going across and selling them at, at sport shops and gyms and all that. This same guy, the guy who was making them for us, he also made mouse pads. He's like, hey, Y2K is going to be coming down the line. IT is picking up a lot. That time the mouse was really bad. It would jump all over the place. He's like, why don't you make a mouse pad for, and offer that to corporates? So we actually started doing that. And our first big order came from Compaq Computers. And they made like 20,000 mouse pads. So all of that happened while I was still here at Bhagat Singh, and yeah, that's where the company started.
Was there any professor that you looked up to?
So, there was a lot of faculty that, we had some interaction with. I think Dr. Siddiqui, who was at the time the principal here, and I think he remained the principal till, at least the year 2000. So to set context, I was here from 1994 to 97. And Dr. Siddiqui was the principal. And, we did have, some interactions, and he would come in and speak. So I think the family also had a connection to him. So he was definitely someone, who I thought was very inspirational. I think a lot of my entrepreneurial insights came from people outside, because it was an ecosystem where, I reached out to relatives who were very successful, and I asked them for advice. So maybe that's where some of the entrepreneurial insights, really came from. Not so much from faculty here, but, again, English Honours is the course I did. And, today, log bolte hain, bade acha bolte ho, at least English badi achhi bolte ho. So I guess a lot of that, happened because of, my learnings here as well. So that had a big role to play.
Was there any society that you were part of?
So I think debating for a bit, and so that was one society that was there. Though I don't remember being on the debate team, because also what happened at that time is that I had started exploring work and work related things. So while I was making my classes, there was probably not too much time for the extracurricular and all of that so much. Yeah.
It's actually the case nowadays. I mean, people are not academically involved, but they are involved in any other activity, extracurriculars.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the fun side now, the friendships part.
Okay.
Who were your closest friends back then?
And that's really cool, because I was just thinking, and when I was driving in, I saw, that there should be this one place we all used to hang out. And it's actually now become part of a residential piece, So as soon as you exit college, like on the right-hand side, now it's like a home thing. But that time it was a tea shop, and you had like, you could get your, colas and your coffees and your samosas and all that. So that was a hangout place. And three of my like really close friends at the time. So Aman Bhandari, he was one guy who's someone who's still I'm very close to. Parikshit, we call him Parry. He was here for a couple of years, then he went to Australia. But Parikshit, Aman, and I would hang out a lot. And then we had people like, of course, this is, in the social media world, you have one guy who's actually crushing it. His name is Avi Arya. So you guys should have Avi on your podcast at some time. Because Avi is like a big guy when it comes to the world of, digital marketing and all of that. So Avi was, also someone we'd hang out with. So Avi, Pawan, some of the modernites. So my last 2 years was actually at DPS Mathura Road, prior to which I was studying in Sanaa, which is up in the hills. So there was a DPS gang and there was the modern, VV and Barakhamba gang. So I think those are the people that we would hang out a lot with. And we're still friends even today, 8 years later. Yeah.
What was your normal college day used to be?
So normally what happened is that Parikshit used to come from Ghaziabad. So he used to pick Aman and me up from, new friends and friends colony respectively and bring us here. So we were almost carpooling. In the first year, I don't even think our parents let us drive. I don't even think we had like a car, but it wasn't like a spare car or anything. So Parikshit was the guy with the car. So he used to always come, pick us up and so we would get here on time. And we would obviously, be here in college, attend as many lectures as we needed to. And at that time, what had happened is that PVR, Priya, so they'd opened their first, I'm not even saying multiplex, but they'd opened like Vasant Vihar Priya. So the first single screen cinema. And so we used to hang out a lot over there. Bowling had become very big. So bowling alleys were, at the time very popular. So we would go and hang out at bowling alleys. Bit of pool. So I think that became kind of, the hangout. And for a while, it was really cool. Before everyone decided, ab to kuch karna padega. So, but those are some of the places that, we'd hang out and things that we do.
You haven't mentioned about any of the classes.
So, yeah, I mean, like I said, here the classes was serious stuff. So, and the thing is that my class was really small. And when I first came to Bhagat Singh, I thought I'll do history honors or I'll do, political science. And then, we're walking by and we see this small class and it's got 8-9 people. And we're like, let's do English honors, right? So we just went and sat and we spoke to our teacher there. And I remember that, there was Aman and me who were terrible at, in fact, another friend was Suvir Paul. He's another guy I'm in touch with. Suvir was he'd come from Bishop Cotton School in Simla, the little mischievous guy, who would always kind of get into trouble. So there was Suvir, Aman, myself, Rima, Ritambra. That's 5, I remember. A couple of more people who were there as well. Very small class. So it was serious. Like class, it meant that, there is going to be, serious studies. And of course, we had, Plato and Chaucer and Waiting for Godot and, Jane Austen and all these things that were there as a curriculum there. So yeah, I think we kind of, got into it pretty deep.
Is there a memory from college that you still think about?
I think hanging out outside, and just, planning, okay, that what's going to happen, and, what's the, plan of action for the day, if it's on the fun side or anything else. So I think that was, definitely, a memory that's very, very dear. I don't remember hanging out so much at the cafeteria at the time, but I think we didn't have the best food, so I don't want to be outside and, chill over there. And of course, yeah, I think some of the learnings and a lot of time that was spent, of course, on campus and even at fests. So the college fest was a really big deal. Right? I'm sure it still is.
So you did your MBA with your college fest.
Yeah.
We have done the research.
Yeah. So, so hence, those are all fun times. Yeah.
Any one memory that you do not want in your life? Ye to nahi hona chahiye tha yaar, from your lifestyle.
So Hindi wasn't my strength. Okay, ever since I was in school, junior school, my parents would always be called at the PTA. At least my mom would attend the parent-teacher meeting, and and they'd be like, "अंग्रेज तो इंडिया छोड़ के चले गए, लगता है इसको यहाँ छोड़ गए," because हिंदी बहुत खराब थी. Okay, when the Hindi got a little better, तो यहाँ मर के बदल हिंदी में पास हुआ है, right? So I mean, it was not the best, and I was marrying my girlfriend to be my wife, and she's like, I hope you passed in college. I'm like, just about. I mean, Hindi was, not the strength. And today I love Hindi. Hindi mein काफी बात भी करता हूँ, trainings भी करता हूँ. So I wish I'd focused a little more on Hindi as a class and not, sorry, Hindi to मर गया, So I think that was something that I was a regret. Yeah.
We won't let you talk about.
I think everyone in college has that one moment that they think every time, during the whole life.
Right. Yeah. So you want me to think back to what was one of those memories? It's an interesting question. I think again that time when my dad came home to me and said that we're finished and we have no money as a family, and real tough times coming. And I said, how much money do we have left? And he reached out to his wallet, and he opened his wallet and saying, the only money we have left is the money in my pocket, like in my wallet right now. And it was in the middle of or towards the end of the first year of college. And again, I came from a fairly privileged South Delhi family where it was a good times. And I think coming back to school or like here in college the next day, and just thinking that what am I going to be doing now? I think that was one scary moment. But again, looking back, and the conversations I had with Avi and Aman and all these guys, like kuch karte hain. So just that fact to go ahead and do something, I think that was a pivotal moment.
Okay, so after all that fun and chaos, college needed, like, we need that hit in our college, right?
Mm-hmm.
So going from SBC classrooms to the professional world, did you feel prepared, or was it a total shock to you?
Bit of both. So there was a bit of a shock, because I remember when I first started going to meet corporate clients, right? And I was now, doing I created a company which was in the corporate gifting space, exactly what we do today. So corporate gifts, promotional products. And I remember walking into this one company, and it was New Year's time, just like now. And I said, okay, we're going to sell you some diaries. And he asked me, okay, what's the grammage of this diary? Like, what's the grammage of the paper? I had no idea, right? And I'm like, I don't know, 250, 300. And the guy looks at me, picks up diary, and he throws it at me. He's like, when you understand, what the grammage is, because it's supposed to be 70 or 80. He's like, you don't even know what product you're selling. He says, when you do, then you come back. So, there were instances like that happened as well, which were like, not the best. And this happened right after college when you're trying to, figure out stuff. But there were people who were really nice as well. There were people who, took me in, and then they said, okay, you seem really young, like, tell me your backstory. Why are you doing this now? So I think it was kind of being thrown into the deep end, but it was a mix and match of good and bad, as there would be anywhere. So I think that's really, what happened. But it's scary, right? When you're leaving, school, and you're leaving college, and you're coming into the big bad world. I think one has to be, you should be a little nervous, right? Because otherwise you're taking life for granted.
Yeah, about like consortium gifts, what was your biggest challenge when you started your project?
Everything was a challenge. It was like so hard, right? But I would say like one of the biggest issues in the beginning was money, right? Because my parents couldn't fund the business. And even when I started that company, it was 10,000 rupees drawn on a credit card, from a school that I had, a Sanal credit card. So I pulled out 10,000 rupees from there. That was the starting capital. And then when you're trying to scale, and I'm saying, okay, now I need to grow my company. And I said, okay, I need more money. I went to the bank, and they're like, what's the security? What deposit do you have? What guarantee can you give us? I'm like, bhai, ghar se kaam karta hu. Matlab, kya baat kar rahe ho, right? So, there was money was a big, issue initially. I think after that was also about finding the right, vendors. I remember people like defrauded us. Orders were coming, delivery was due tomorrow, and we don't even know where they are. So, those kind of, defrauding was also happening. Lots of challenges. It was just like every day you'd be like, oh, can I really do this? And so many days I'd wake up and I'm like, kya kar raha hu yaar? Naukri kar leta yaar. So the thing is, that kind of thing would happen from time to time. It was really challenging. But I think my mom, and my dad, they're like, lage raho yaar. That's really what's going to be the most important aspect. Yeah.
And now that you have built multiple ventures, what's something that college didn't teach you, but life forced you to learn?
Okay, so I'd say one was like never give in. There will be issues. You have to continue to go ahead and and persist. So I think the never give in piece was a big lesson. I think the other aspect was that in the end it kind of boils down, to who you are and your belief. I mean, sure, there will be people around you. So attitude is very, very important. I think attitude is one of the key things. Attitude sahi hona chahiye. Attitude sahi hai to sab sahi jayega. So I think attitude is very important. Also, the other one is that always be in action. Always be trying to get a little better. Like learn, move forward. And in due course, and I say that, and of course I had some giveaways for your team as well. And it's got these wristbands, and I of course wear one here as well. And it says attitude, action, acceleration. Right? So you have to have the right attitude. You have to be in action. And once you have momentum, then you really got to push forward. Then you got to get better. So I got some wristbands for your team as well. So you give them to them as well. Right. Yeah. So I'd say that was an important lesson. Yeah.
What was that thing? What motivates you?
Then or now?
Till now.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if you ever read or heard of this author called Simon Sinek, right? So Simon Sinek wrote a book called Start With Why. And I think, when I read that book, that really became, a big motivator to say that, okay, I need to go out there and do something bigger. I need to play a bigger game. I need to inspire, a lot of people. Because the thing is, a lot of people say so motivation. The interesting part with motivation is temporary. I mean, even for you guys, right, and for people listening in, sometimes what happens is you wake up in the morning and you're very motivated. You say, "Aaj to boss, bade game khelne wale hain, badi cheezein hone wale hain." But by the time the day progresses, your motivation crashes. Right? Sometimes at night you're motivated, but morning you're not motivated. Sometimes you're motivated for a few days, but then not beyond a certain time. So motivation is temporary. Motivation comes in waves. Okay, motivation, I always say, is going to be the Gabbar Singh of your movie, right, of your life, because you think it's there, but it's actually the villain of your story. So I think it has to be a deeper conversation, and I guess you guys will realize this later. It's about purpose. It's not about money. Okay, money is going to be a byproduct of your purpose and what you go out there and do. So I think my motivation is my overall goal and what I hope to create with the companies and everything else, and also like my top secret long-term goal, which if you want to know, I'll tell you. Not many people have heard this one. Okay, but what I say is by the 15th of August 2041, I'd like to be the Prime Minister of the country. Right? So, yeah, imagine that. Bhagat Singh se Prime Minister. Ho sakta hai, right? We never know. So, yeah. So that is a long-term goal that I have.
So you often talk about 10x, like.
Yeah.
What does that mean actually? If you want to share
Of course. And if you see, like, even on my jacket, there'll be like a 10x here, and So 10x actually comes from a guy called Grant Cardone, someone that who I've learned from, met, and of course now I'm licensed in his content as well. So imagine, okay, and this is again a question for the both of you, and everyone listening in at home or later. You are at point A. Okay, so think about where you are now. Okay, and think about something that you want to achieve in the future. Okay, and maybe you want to do this. Okay. Close your eyes for a sec. Okay, so close your eyes. Okay, I'll close our eyes as well. So think about a point where you are today. Okay, that's point A. Now think about something that you want to achieve in the future. Maybe 1 year down the line, 2 years down the line, 3 years down the line. That one thing that you want, could be, that job, that car, that bank balance. Think about that one thing. Okay, eyes are still closed. And now I want you to think about all the action. Okay, all the activity, all the meetings, all the hard work, all the preparation, all the work that you'll do in class, to get you that particular job, or to get you that particular money, or to get you that particular thing that you really want. Okay, think about that for a sec. Okay, and then I would say, go ahead and open your eyes. The two of you and those listening later, how many of you think that seemed like a lot of work? Like, काफी मेहनत करनी पड़ेगी उस चीज को achieve करने के लिए. Yeah? Now, the truth and what the 10x rule states is that whatever you thought, actually आपको उससे 10 गुना ज़्यादा मेहनत करनी पड़ेगी. So to get to that point, you'll actually have to work 10 times harder than what you thought, and it'll have to be done through consistency and over time.
I mean, that's the incredible thing that I've.
So that's the 10x rule. So the 10x rule is you think इतने में से काम हो जाएगा, but actually आपको उससे 10 गुना ज़्यादा काम करना पड़ेगा उस चीज को achieve करने के लिए, and it's a mindset thing. So that's very, very important.
That's the key for motivation. We can motivate ourselves with this 10x rule.
We can. Yeah.
And what's the biggest mistake you see young people are making nowadays?
Yeah, and the thing is, I've been someone who's been in the stock market a lot. In fact, even when I was in Bhagat Singh or prior, I used to actually trade stocks and all that. I actually blew my trading account twice. One was before coming to Bhagat Singh, one was while I was in Bhagat Singh. So I think a mistake that a lot of kids make is that they want to become rich really fast. Okay, they want to make fast money, and they think that it can happen by trading instruments in the stock market, which are not easy, and that is derivatives. So they want to do futures and options trading, right? And they think that, okay, we've got a little bit of money, maybe parents gave us 10, 15,000, or we earned some money from somewhere by doing some side gig, etc. And they think with that money, they'll be able to use it to do options trading and make lots more money. I think that's a big misconception.
I mean, yeah, that's the adrenaline rush that I got into back then. I made like 20K or something in 1 month.
Wow.
I am seeing my portfolio.
Right.
Like, damn, this is the money I've made myself.
Yep.
This is it.
Right.
मैं अमीर हो गई हूँ.
Sahi hai.
But that wasn't the case. When you
Gone,
can't,
right? Yeah. So I think that is one aspect. That's one thing that bothers me, that a lot of kids today are picking up a lot of things on Instagram, on YouTube, and they'll see some reel, and the guy will be driving his, Ferrari or whatever, and he'll say, "Boss, ye meri gaadi, aap bas mera course karo, sab kuch waise ho jayega." And a lot of it's happening in the pin influencer space, right? So people who are trading, or teaching how to trade and all of that. there's no quick money. There's no shortcut to success, and I wish that, generation would realize that more. I mean, I have, children today who are 18 and 14. And I think they've kind of understood that. And, and I tell them, I suggest, let your friends know as well that it's a little bit of hard work and hustle that'll be required. There's no easy money. Or agar aayega asani se jayega bhi. Exactly like what you said. Easy come, easy go. Right? So the money comes easy and then it goes. So never ever think that, you are going to become a profitable trader in the markets. Don't try and do like side hustles that are, going to distract you from your longer term vision. So I think that's one mistake that kids are making today.
Yeah, we can't make wealth that way.
Yeah. I mean, it's boring. And, if I would tell people that, hey, you have to start an SIP, they'd be like, are you serious? Kitna time lagega to make wealth? But the thing is the power of compounding. Today when you're 18, 19, 20, 21, and you start putting in even 2,000 rupees a month. Like my son called me yesterday. He's just joined the first year of college. And he said, I'm putting away 2,000 rupees a month from my pocket money into an SIP. I'm like, dude, I wish I had that kind of discipline, which I didn't in college, right? Hamara to trading karenge, market mein, sab kuch ud gaya. So again, the point is that if you can do that, it's boring. But what's going to happen at a particular time in your life is that you'll have an amazing corpus, and it's a good habit to build. As you start saving money, and as you start investing money, not trading in money, trading in instruments, what happens is it actually becomes addictive for you as well.
Okay, now moving forward to the next segment.
Sure.
We'll have questions from current SBSC students.
Okay, lovely.
So, how do you find your passion when everything feels confusing?
Okay, that is challenging because what happens is, and see, we all could be passionate about something. Okay, like someone could be passionate about a sport, like cricketers love cricket, golfers love golf. Someone might love baking, all of that. So the point is that it's okay to be passionate. Just know that passion may not translate into a profession. So just because you're passionate about something doesn't mean that that's actually going to become your business. So people confuse passion and profession. Okay, and what's going to happen is that in life there will be times where, and again speak from experience, there will be times where there will be pressure. There will be chaos. There will be confusion. Having a passion, something that you can just go back to, which you find relaxing, is really, really good. So never let that passion go. It could be reading, it could be music, it could be singing, it could be a sport, it could be cooking, baking, any of those things. It's good to have, a passion. Like even today for me, I mean, I try and get a round of golf, or I try and go and play some poker, because those are passions that, podcasting was, a passion, which of course then, blew up and everything else. So you never know what's going to happen, but don't write off, the passions.
Okay, next question. There is so much competition. How do you stand out?
There'll always be competition, right? And the point is that today, when someone sees someone doing well, then everyone kind of wants to, jump into that piece. Like, uska IPO aaya, to hum bhi yehi karenge. Like just today, and the team and I were chatting, the lens card just listed, right? And everyone's like, oh, lens card, Piyush Bansal, so much money, da da da. But how many people have actually, become, unicorns and actually gone to the IPO route? For everyone that has, there are probably thousands that have not and just crashed and burned. So there'll always be competition. I'd say it's good to have competition, and competition should also inspire you. So, if, again, people listening in, if they've seen the movie Seabiscuit, Seabiscuit was a horse, right? Who otherwise was not doing the best, but when from the corner of his eye, he would see another horse coming. That was a competition. Then Seabiscuit would start running like anything. So, competition is good. I believe competition keeps you on your toes, because without competition, you could get complacent. Don't fear it. Embrace it. Keep your competition close and do the best with it.
How do you deal with your failure, especially when you are at your lowest?
So I think it's very important to know that failure is okay. I was in class 11 and I got a compartment in math. Okay, and I was like, "Mar gaya," right? I mean, frankly and thankfully, I was able to, not like it led to like 11th fail. Thankfully, I mean, I passed the compartment. But there've been so many times that I've failed. I mean, that's academically, once. Fortunately, Bhagat Singh mein pass ho gaya tha. So thank you, Bhagat Singh teachers. But, after that, the point is in work. There's so many times, like orders fail, or, a venture would have had, a vertical that failed. It's okay to fail. But just learn from those failures and just try not to repeat that mistake. Because if you do it more than a few times, then it's a challenge. But otherwise, every failure is a learning lesson. So it's okay to fail. And that's why I wish parents would tell their kids more. It's okay to fail. Don't worry about it. Right?
That's such a good advice. I think every student in the room needs to hear that.
Yeah.
Okay, so time for the next segment, the rapid fire, quick, fun, and real.
So, one college memory you'd relive.
One college memory I'd relive, I think just hanging out with the guys and, the fun times where we would go to, the Oasis or the Gungroos, like even the bars that we would go to and just, hang out and just the chill time that we would have around that time, even the bowling alleys and the movies, fun things, easier times, less complicated. So those would be definitely fun times with college mates.
Okay, one you did rather forget.
One I'd rather forget. I think one I'd rather forget. Okay, that's interesting. But possibly the way I fared in one of my exams here. I won't mention which one, but I think it was third year final exams. I think I did really badly. So I think that was a miss. But yeah, that's one I'd like to forget. I wish I'd done a little better.
Your most embarrassing college moment?
I think when I came in, and it was fun ragging, but it was ragging nonetheless. And I think one of the seniors at the time, it was fun ragging in the sense that they would say, okay, roll up your pants, take off your shoes and socks, and run around saying "Bhago bhago bada re." So I think that was embarrassing, but it was fun in a way as well. So, but yeah, that did happen.
A teacher you'll never forget.
I think at Bhagat Singh, I think Dr. Siddiqui, who was the principal at the time. So very very full of poise and very very refined. So yeah, I would say him.
Your college friend that always saved your life before submissions?
Oh, Rima. Like, Rima, who's Rima Mehra now, and she's married to another friend. So I think Rima Mehra, because she and Ritamra, so these two girls were so studious. They'd come from CJM and they were like so diligent, and they had the perfect notes. So yes, both of them actually. So Rima, Ritamra, two people.
Okay, one SBSC tradition you still miss.
I think that we just made learning and fun come together over here. So I think that was really good, and that was something that while we were in our class it was serious, but when we were out it was fun, and the college environment made it such. There was no crazy pressure and nothing but you have to crush your exams and all of that. So I think learning and fun. So I think that was a good combination. I miss that.
The first big win of your life?
The first big win of my life. I think the first real big win was getting that compact mousepad order. As a 19-year-old, you walk into a meeting at the Taj Hotel with, someone from Compaq, and he says, "Mere liye 20,000 mousepad bana de." Right now, that's a big ass deal because at the time it was $25 a mousepad. So to get even an order where there's a 5 lakh rupee order and it's your first big thing, I think that was a game changer.
Okay, the first failure.
In college or like any time?
In college.
Okay, so around that time, I'd say the failure would have been. Around again, maybe some of the corporate work that we did. So some of the initial, or like that guy throwing the diary at me and saying that मतलब जब कुछ सीखेगा तब वापस आइयो. So I thought that was a failure, but it was also a learning lesson where I said that I need to now really get into learning my product and learning my pitch before I go out and sell. So yeah.
Any quality that you think every student should have?
Discipline. Okay, and while for a lot of people that'd be like, yeah, but the thing is, discipline in the long term, it plays a very big role. And discipline will be towards food, it'll be towards exercise, it'll be towards even routine. I know that's very hard. When you're in college, to wake up at a particular time because everything's happening at night and you're consuming all your Netflix and your social media. It's all happening at night. So waking up early is very very hard. But I think if you can be disciplined, it'll take you very far in life.
A quote or line that defines your life.
A quote or line that defines my life. So I think the quote would be like "Never give in." So like which was our school motto from Sana before I came down to Delhi. So never give in is big. That just lug it out. I think that's a really big one. And of course the other one would be the attitude, action, acceleration. The band I told you about. So I think those would be two integral parts of my ethos.
Any habit that helped you be successful?
I think if we again take something out of, let's say, college, just being a good communicator, so the fact that if I had a message, I could craft that message very well on, from thought to paper. And again, I think credit has to go to our faculty, the English honors teachers here. Yeah. So they made us realize that, okay, this is how you communicate. And today, I mean, it's true, right? The quality of your communication is the quality of your life. How are you putting your ideas, forward to people, getting stakeholders on board? What are you telling them? So yeah, I think that would be an important one.
Okay, one decision that completely changed your life.
The fact that I decided to go ahead and start working when I was still in college and on my own, in my own company, rather than going out and picking up a job. So I think that was one big game changer. So taking a path of entrepreneurship when no one did it. Today it's fashionable. That time they'd be like, "Pagal hai, kya kar raha hai?" So I think that was a big one.
SBSC for you in one word.
Fun, right? So, and it was, it was truly like, a fun, memorable time. So yeah, the fun aspect, since you also one word.
Before we wrap up, one message for the younger generation. What's your honest advice to them?
Yeah. So, advice for, all of you guys and girls, listening in and, those who tune in later, it would again boil down to just have, the right attitude. Just, go in with the attitude that, we need to make big things happen. Okay. The 10x piece, of course, always, be in action, always keep moving forward. And once you have the momentum, accelerate. Okay. So again, it boils down to the attitude, the action, and the acceleration. Okay. And just believe in yourself and go out there and make big things happen. You have your whole lives in front of you. India is at a great place and a great time. And just go out there and make the most of it.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
That was it.
It was a pleasure.
So to everyone listening, this was our SBSC Alumni podcast, and we really enjoyed it. And I hope our guests enjoyed too.
Absolutely, and all the best. And I'm sure that this is going to be an amazing initiative. And in due course, you're going to have the Joe Rogan podcast trailing the Shaheed Bhagat Singh podcast. So let's aspire to become the best that we can be.
We really will work.
Awesome.
Until next time, this is Siddhi.
This is Swati signing off. Thank you.